Welcome, advocates, to another episode of the Leading Equity Podcast, a podcast that focuses on supporting educators with the tools and resources necessary to ensure equity at their schools. Today's special guest is Dr. Rema. So without further ado, Dr. Rema, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Thank you. And you've tarried with me. Like there's been a couple times it starts and stops. And so I appreciate your accommodation, your grace, and your patience.
Oh, yeah. Pleasure's all mine. I'm excited to talk about leadership today. One of my favorite topics. I have a book that is coming out. What are you bringing to the potluck? So it's on leadership. So this is going to be right on par. So I'm excited for that. But before we get into today's topic, I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and what you currently do.
That's always a hard question. So I'm currently a full professor at Wayne State University. I teach in the Ed Policy and Leadership Department, PhDs, EDDs who are going into schools to lead them for transformative change. I also am the leader and the creator of a nonprofit called the Sankofa Scholarship Collective. And that nonprofit actually gives scholarships to kids every year at a fantastic ball. Doc, you need to come next year to Detroit, not Detroit, to Detroit, not Grand Raggedy, to Detroit for that fundraiser. It's the week of Juneteenth. You need to come. All the people on here need to come. It's super fantastic. We give scholarships to kids. It's called the Black Ball. Everybody dresses in all black. All the kids are dressed to the nines. We do all the hustles. You got to learn all the Detroit hustles to come. So we give scholarships to kids, but we also have programming like Leading Well is a program for Black women principals who are focused on what equity looks like in terms of wealth and health for their school communities and for themselves. And we've been to Belize and Ghana and LA and Florida. We've just been everywhere kicking it and having a good time, but also thinking very, very clearly about what wealth and health looks like as disruptors of white supremacy and as resistance to anti-Black racism. So I do that work with them, and then I work with their students on policy. We have a policy summit coming up October 28th, where we'll interview mayoral, gubernatorial, city council folks who are running for office, and those students have created a policy that they want those folks to respond to in a whole summit on October 28th. So that work, and then I work with graduate students who are trying to think about humane ways and pedagogical choices and methodological choices that humanize Black folks. So if that work is every year as well as an intensive. You come for a week, you leave with your first 3 chapters if you're studying Black folks and studying with Black communities. And so there's all kinds of other programming. I don't sleep very much. I basically think about what you talk about and what you write about all day, every day. I think about it, but I'm trying to be about it as well. So that's it. Is there anything else you needed from me around?
I don't know. First of all, I'm going to apologize on behalf of my Grand Rapids listeners for. Let me stop because your face. No, that was all. Thank you for sharing, and we'll leave links in the show notes, folks, so you can tap in and connect on the conference that you have coming up. There's some really good work that you're doing. And you said that there's a Juneteenth ball, the Black Ball as well. Did I get that right with the scholarship?
Yes, sponsor some students, but you need to just come through. Yeah. Come through. We don't have a skate rink, but there is one in Detroit.
They got skating rinks in Detroit.
I'm saying I don't have it at the ball. Maybe next year though.
Oh, I'll be there. They got skating.
It's the skates. Okay.
Say less. I will be there.
It's enough for the kids though. Come for the kids.
Okay. You had me at skating rink, but yes, I will be there for the kids as well. But let's get into it because we're talking about, so you say you're a full professor at Wayne State, and you're doing the educational policy for leadership. So you're shaping the lives of our future leaders. And today's topic is interesting because when we're talking about anti-DEI legislation that is out there where folks are wanting to lead the charge when it comes to school transformation, how does that impact those who are equity focused, equity minded when it comes to leadership with all these things that are going on in our political scheme?
Yeah, I'm glad you noted the full professorship because it's important. There's always been a consistent pushback on Black folks, but particularly Black women in higher education I'm one of 2 people who have reached full professor at Wayne
Mm.
State. Like, they just get pushed out, don't get tenure, don't get to full. And so it's a big deal in the grand scheme of the question, which is
Mhm.
we've always had an attack on doing equity work. This isn't new. We're not all of a sudden, oh man, now they're coming for us. They've been coming for us. What they've done, in my estimation, with these executive orders and dear faculty letters that they've written, is give permission for institutions to do what they've always wanted to do, which is to quit DEI anyway. Equity and justice, inclusion, you talk a lot about belonging and community in your work. All of these are words that don't necessarily have to have a mandate to get them done. And we've not had a mandate before these executive orders to get it done. And we've been doing the work. Before there was a DEI strategy, we've been doing the work. And so I don't know that it changes our resolve to get it. It does then separate the weak from the strong, the brave from the terrified, and the lily livered from those who have resolve. So if for institutions, if you already wanted to quit any equity, justice, inclusive community belongingness work that you were doing, you have your permission slip. These executive orders don't even have teeth, have not been ratified. They are not law. They're suggestions at this point. There's no legal mandate behind it. So you see all these people capitulating and bowing down and saying, yes, we're going to get rid of all our DEI and scrub it clean. They already wanted to do that because they don't have to. Legally, they literally do not have to do it. So that they're doing it means that that's what they wanted to do. For us as individuals who are transformative leaders, who believe in the power of education to create a more just, a more loving, a more kind, a more humane world. Like, I believe that. Like, you change schools, you literally can change the world. So for those of us who are committed to this, we had like a nice run from 2020 to now. We had like a nice run where people were like, yes, come help, come in, do all the things, give us all the PD, talk strongly to us about this, and we're not going to push back. That run is over. But we didn't have that run in 1999 and in 2009. We didn't have that run. So in 2019, we didn't have that run. So if you were already doing that work, if you were already like true to this, then you're not new to this. You're not new to the struggle that we're already engaged in. So it doesn't make it a little bit, the way was a little slicker, was paved a little smoother for the last 5 years. Well, that's over. Go back to getting it out the mud. We got to go back to thugging it out. We got to go back to coalition where we decide, we got to figure out who is about the life and then coalesce in ways that are more strategic than what we had to do for the last 5 years. We have to think about ways to transgress, ways to go underground, ways to create policy that combats what has been practiced, because what we've gone back to now is common practice. We're not even at policy. We're back at common practice, which is always status quo, which is always mediocre, which is always rooted in whiteness, which is always anti-Black. So we're going back to practice. What policies can we make? What policies can we enact that would say, you know what, we don't have to use the word belongingness, but that kids are not going to be excluded. And that not only are they not going to be excluded, we're going to shift what we offer, what we give to accommodate them. We're going to modify so that they feel like they are a part of this system that we are creating. We got to think more strategically about policy, because the practice has gone back to what it was. But I kind of feel like, okay, we've been here. Like, put your shoes on and let's walk it out. Because if you were already about this life, you just had it easy for a minute. Go back to what it was. Now, let's talk about Black women, for example, though. Over 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs since the first executive order in February. That's a problem, because generational wealth, knowledge, there's all these things about Black women educate full generations. Indeed, we're the highest educated subgroup population in the United States. Black women are. And we go into the helping professions. nursing, teaching. We go into in the more humane professions. If you're taking the capital away from Black women, you're taking away their leadership roles, you're taking away their opportunities. We were already the last hired, first fired, the last in the C-suite, even though we are the most educated, right? And they keep depending on us to change the world or to save them. If you are taking away the power of Black women, this is a dangerous time. And no one's raising that alarm. That's more of an important, 911 into the emergency over here. That's an important conversation, because when you have done that, then you've taken the backbone of the whole country away. And so then what happens? And so, yeah, DEI, they're doing what they're going to say about DEI. We still do the work. You can label it whatever you want to. And then we got to think about policy. And let's have a conversation about Black women and what they've been to this country, what they will be to this country, and how their power being stripped means something grave and dire for Black community, but every single community. What people don't understand, Doc, too, is what happens to Black people happens to all of us. So if Black folks rise, we're the tide that lifts all boats. If we're down, you're down. Like it is what it is. Like you can't win without us. And so that national conversation about Black women has to be had, and we're not having it.
Let's have it, because you said you gave me out some stats, and I haven't, this is my first time coming across these statistics, but there are alarming 300,000 plus women since February have been laid off. Now, when you're saying, is that federal workers? Is that in general? Is that educators? Give me a little bit more context there.
It's all of those, but it's also what they are calling DEI hires, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. So people who are doing DEI work have been let go. It's like a full-on attack on Black women. And, there are other people who've lost their jobs too. I'm just really giving you the most alarming stat.
Yeah.
But people who have done this work and have tried to be transformative leaders are summarily being dismissed since the executive order. That's not by accident. Again, there isn't, still today, there's no beef in that patty. That executive order is meatless. Like you don't have to comply because there's no legal mandate to do so. Why are they doing it? Why are these institutions? MSU, I'm a trustee at MSU. Michigan State University has scrubbed clean all of their websites of anything DEI. The DEI strategy, which was a whole like pillar dedicated in this strategic plan, has been completely eradicated. Like it didn't exist. Gone. There are only 5. Now DEI was one of them. It's a wrap. The DEI VP, no longer. Its title has been reformed. The Black Student Association, BSA, was told to change their bylaws. Their funding was cut and their advisor was canceled. There is no legal mandate to do any of this, and they're doing it, right? It's because they wanted to. This is a permission slip. It's not an executive order. Yes, we need to comply just in case. Just in case what? I don't know if anyone in this call, and sometimes educators have been bullied. A bully does this. Like they come and they say, hey, give me your lunch money. And you say, oh, yes, take my lunch money, take it. The next day, what do? Checking that coat. The next day, you coming out those shoes. Like a bully takes it up a notch every single time you capitulate, every time you bend, anytime you give in without a fight. Well, these institutions, instead of doing what I just said, that those who are dedicated to transformative education should do, coalescing, coming up with a coalition, right? Supporting one another so that we can stave off the attacks and keep the work going forward. Institutions like higher education institutions should be doing the same thing. We're way more powerful than any executive order if we coalesce. MSU is part of the Big Ten. The Big Ten, Rutgers tried to do this. Like, let's all come together and we're going to say, no, we ain't doing it. We ain't doing it. MSU is like, no, we're not going to join you. This is a problem. We're stronger together. Those institutions are going to outlast this administration. The reason the executive orders aren't getting pushed the way they should be, who's in these spaces? You've come after Harvard. You've come after Stanford. These are the judges who are making decisions on your executive order, sir. These are alumni. You're not getting through. Harvard was like, yeah, we're not doing it. What happened to Harvard? Nothing. So what's happening right now? These ISDs and school districts, y'all meant to do this. You wanted to do it. My grant from the Michigan Department of Education was canceled immediately after the executive order. All the work for the CBC, the Centering Black Children in Education, was canceled right after it was the executive order was released. That meant the annual conference, the student programming in the summer, the graduate student programming in the summer, all that canceled. How, Sway? How are y'all doing this? Like, how y'all doing this? Where there is no legal mandate to do this. Why would you do it? Well, there is no legal mandate. Yes, there's been a moratorium, a stay on the orders to dismantle all things DEI, but yet we're still going to cancel your contract because it says 30 days. Notice in 30 days, you ain't going to have no money. Wow. So even when they got challenged, they were like, well, we're still going to do it though. Like, thanks. We're still going to do it. Okay.
So what's the solution? Because it sounds like what I'm hearing is we don't have, or these institutions and organizations do not have to make these changes. However, they feel that there's a, I don't know, invitation, if you will, from our presidential administration to do these changes. So as people, as citizens, so this is I'm always one of those individuals like, you know what, I am all about a boycott. I'm all about those kind of things. So I'm curious on your end, what are your thoughts on how do we make these changes?
Yeah, so I think these boycotts have been effective. Target lost. Listen, the boycotts are uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Target hurt my feelings. Like, why, Target? Like, why would you do this to me?
Yes.
To me, it's personal, Target. Yes. You know I love you. I spent all my money with you. This is how you do me. Target could have just kept eating their food and kept their mouth shut. Like, why did you even say anything? Like, we're cutting all our DEI. Like, now I know that that's what you wanted to do because you didn't have to do it. That's what you wanted to do. Now I can't even shop at Target. I love Amazon. I want you order something at 9:00, it's there by 12. Yes, come through Amazon. Nothing. I can't order anything. We have to decide enough is enough. Yeah. And we have to your point, we have to let our dollars talk for us. Target lost billions with that boycott. I'm still not at Target. I'm still not doing it.
No, still not going.
No, not going. I'm at Costco, right? Which, you know, now I got my whole kitchen is bulk everything. Like, you can't walk through, right? Like,
if you won't need it, you won't need it again for another 6 months.
But when it's there, you got to use it up, though. That's the other part.
It depends on what you're buying, but
doing too much.
I hear what you're saying. But that's always been my solution. I think everything has a purpose. Like when it comes to like boycotts, when it comes to protesting, everyone serves a role. But for me, if you ask me, because I'm not going to be, I personally am not going to march, and that's just not my tactic. But you tell me don't go to the store or don't buy from this person or don't support this person or whatever organization, I'm all for it, because to me, hitting them in their pockets has historically been the most effective strategy.
So there's a carrot or the stick. They only understand the stick, right? They just don't get the carrot. The stick is always money. It's hitting them in their pockets. It's always money. But it's high time. And, you know, people don't want to have this conversation either, but we lost a lot during integration. Brown v. the Board of Education did us no favors. We had a higher per capita, a higher percentage of Black PhDs when we were segregated. Now I can enumerate all the reasons that was true. What we do know is that we're in schools with folks who don't want to teach us. We're in systems that were not made for us. And we're being told over and over again, we're not going to bend, we're not going to yield, we're not going to serve you. Over and over and over again. We're being told this, right? Not just implicitly, explicitly. There's a whole letter that was written, dear colleague. There's a whole executive order that said, we're not doing it. You're not welcome here. So, okay, why is Donald Trump giving all this money to the HBCU? He's saying, go away. Like, we don't want your kind. We're going to support separate and equal. Get over there. So why do we insist? No. We're coming over there. We are going to stay over there. Like, why do we insist? This is the perfect time to build your own. It's your perfect opportunity to say, listen, I know what works in the science classroom. I know what works in a history classroom. I know what leaders look like, and I know what transformative leaders should be. I'm going to, Dr. Akins, I'm going to create my own situation, right? I'm going to create my own educational hub of like-minded community, parents, teachers, administrators, counselors, and most importantly, students. I'm going to just knock it out the park, because what has consistently been shown to us is that they're not going to go quietly into the good night of the right thing to do. Just won't do it. So, okay, if you insist, let's create our own. And honestly, I'm saying it for the first time ever, publicly. Last week, I purchased a whole school campus, right? Like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a whole school. Yes.
Wait, hold on. So you wait, hold on now. We could have talked about that in the beginning. You should just now. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. So you've purchased property for a school.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So this educational campus has a huge school on it. Just lovely, beautiful windows. It has a church that will now be an event center where the Juneteenth Black Ball is going to be next year. It has a house which will be transformed into a retreat space and a meeting space for people to convene. And it has a whole gym that will be a rec center for the community and a voting center and every other center that you could think of. Come into this community. The community needs a space that loves them, right? And wants them to thrive. And that's the space that I want to create. And so it's 50,000 square feet of magic that's going to happen at that educational campus.
Well, first of all, congratulations. And one of the things I can appreciate is that not only you here telling us about it, or telling us about, if you're about this life, we're going to keep pressing forward, but you're actually living that. You're showing those examples. There's one thing, like I'll get people on here and do better will be the conversation. But to see someone in practice that's actually living what they're saying means a lot. So have you thought of a name of the school? Have we decided K-12? Is it charter? Is it like, tell us a little bit more. I'm intrigued.
So that the name part has been an issue for me. I don't know why. I kind of feel like students should name it. Like, maybe that's what I'll end up doing, is having kids name it. But what I want to start, we talked about being a principal before we got on the air, and that was the hardest job I've had outside of working at Wendy's. Wendy's was pretty stressful, but being a principal was really a lot. And part of it was I was at an elementary school for a whole year of purgatory. It was horrible. Do you hear me? Those kids hug and they kiss and they say they love you and they're glad to see you in the morning. When they get sent to the office for not sitting at circle time, right? Like, sit down. Like, why are you up here in the office? Like, how is this an offense? I'm used to guns and knives and alcohol, marijuana, people, doing things on campus that they shouldn't be doing. Like, this, sit down at circle time. It was taxing, to say the least. And there's a lot of parents who are really, really engaged, which is awesome, but also they gotta have something to do. So it was not cool for me. I'm gonna start though at 6th grade. So every year I'll start. 6th grade I can do, right? They're getting a little bit into the 7th grade sweet spot, which you get to do every day, which is, I'm envious. They get into the 7th grade sweet spot. I'm gonna start at 6th grade next year, and I'm gonna add a grade every year going back and forth. So every year, next year I'll do 5th, and then I'll do a 7th, and then a 4th and an 8th, right? Until I get the whole situation situated from pre-K through graduation. And it's a public-private. So I need to have autonomy. I don't believe in all this, let's keep weighing the cow to see if it gets fatter, even though we didn't feed it anything. Like, why are we doing all this testing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so we'll have a whole literacy program that focuses on not just financial literacy, numeracy, just reading and writing, but literally about how to live financially. And there was a program that CBCE did with the Commission REI this year with young youth and young adults. And after the 6 weeks of programming, they left with an EIN. They left with their own LLC. named, right? They left with the whole business and they learned what it meant to run the business. And so that kind of thing, I'm going to teach that on top of everything else. But I still need I need the autonomy, because you're not going to learn that in a public school. I need the autonomy, but I also need the public dollars. So it's a public-private. And there's going to be people who I've already talked to, these parents, right, who are ready and willing and chomping at the bit. I've talked to them. They're going to come and actually subsidize those folks who could not afford tuition. And so that we get public dollars, and we also have private autonomy, the freedom to do liberating education, and not just this mediocre status quo BS that doesn't serve anybody.
What do you envision as your leadership? Like, so what does that look like for you? Were you planning to step into that role? Or if not, what is your mindset? What are you looking for as far as leadership?
So leader, know thyself. Like I study and teach leadership a lot. What I do recognize is that with school leadership, there's some management that goes, and I'm not a good manager. Just not going to do well with this. I can come up with the big ideas. I can try to put resources together so you can implement your big ideas. We can dream together and make it happen. The day-to-day operations, no, sir.
Okay.
No, thank you. So I need someone who actually lives this work out, who's not, you know, you said it earlier, like, you know, come on the show and talk about it. You've been about it. Like, I want someone who is actually devoted to our students, who really believes that they can learn and is invested in their brilliance being manifested in the classroom every single day, like who are wildly in love with Black folks and want to show up for us in that way. I need a person like that. I need all the educators, the teachers in that building to have that same love for learning and for teaching, because the two go together. So it was Asa Hilliard in my, maybe a junior in college. I went to go see Dr. Asa Hilliard, and he talks about Black genius and Black brilliance and gifted education and Afrocentric education. And I went to go see him speak. And afterwards, I was so moved and I was so excited. And I was so nervous, but I was going to go up and say something to him. And I was going to thank him. And I said, you know, thank you so much. I'm studying to be a secondary English teacher, and I'm going to teach English. And he was like, no, you're not. And I was thinking, oh, snap. Like, if this guy says I can't teach it, then it's a wrap. I got to go into accounting. Like, I mean, like, he's this guy, I'm waiting for the blessing. He was canceling. He said, you're not teaching English, you're teaching students. You're teaching children. You're not teaching a subject matter, you're teaching people. And teaching and learning means that you are always learning the learner, and you're learning yourself as the learner and the teacher in that space. And you're being taught by the learner and teaching the learner at the same time. And you're always, this is never a point where you're the expert, that you know something that they don't, and you're the keeper of knowledge. No, we're co-creating new knowledge. We're co-constructing a new way of thinking together. And so finding those teachers, that's hard. Finding those leaders, that's hard. But for the last 5 years, I've been doing professional development through the Michigan Department of Education, the African American Student Initiative. And I've been able to cultivate some of those folks, very few, but some of those folks throughout the year. By the way, they also canceled their training after the whole DEI situation. The weak-willed show up. So that part is still going to happen. It's still going to happen. It's just going to happen with smaller groups and with people who are committed and show up committed. And it's going to happen in my school.
All right. I love it. Well, this conversation has taken a few turns, and appreciate you for sharing about your school. And again, congratulations. That's a big deal. And I'm all support. If there's anything I could do to support you, please let me know.
Come be the administrator. Come lead it.
I enjoy where I'm at. However, I'm happy to support.
You would love Detroit. Trying to tell you. Just come Juneteenth and we can have a whole conversation about it. Okay? Just don't say no yet.
We'll have a conversation in Juneteenth. Okay. But on a seriously, and yes, we'll have a conversation Juneteenth. But I would love for you to take us home with any final words of advice you want to provide to our listeners.
Yeah, right. So I was working with some kids yesterday there for this policy summit that's coming up on the 28th, and they had to write if they were gonna write their own autobiography, what would their title of their book be? So they came up with all these titles, and one was like a complete guide to thugging it out. I think that was the first title that I was like, yes, thugging it out. And they said you have to come up with one too. You have to come up with one, and I was like, yeah, I don't know yet. Like I have so many titles that I'm coming up with, and they said your title would be Radical Love. They said that, right? Your title would be Radical Love. And that was one of the best compliments, but also affirmations I've received, right? That they could recognize that that's how I show up, is walking in love, was a great affirmation for me. It made me feel really good. Because I was thinking more like defiant or, rebel, like, but they said Radical Love, which actually Radical Love is all of those things. It's defiant, it's a rebel, it's a transgressor and a transformer, right? To love radically means you give people what they need, even if they don't know they need it, and even if they don't want it. But radically loving someone is making sure that they're okay. And that's what my word of advice would be to everybody is: one, radically love yourself first. Like just fall in love with you, fall in love with all that you dream to be, all that you've been, every mistake, every misstep. Those have all been lessons creating who you are today. And who you are today is flames. So be the fire that you are, but fall in love with that fire. Like just radically love you, give you what you need, even if you don't want it, and be the best version of yourself. Then radically love everybody else.
If we have some folks that want to connect with you, what's the best way to reach you online?
Oh, so drrema.com. Dr. Rema. If you put in Dr. Rema, I'll show up. Rema. I'll show up.
Okay. Well, you heard it first. Dr. Rema, School of Education for I don't know what.
I don't know. You gotta come up with something. I'm counting on you.
Oh, okay. I'll see what I can come up with. I'll do some thinking and see if I can come up with something. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.